Hi everyone, this is Nikki Jameson from Nikki Jameson Art. I'm back again with another video, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a sketch using an alternative method in Corel Painter. So I'm using Corel Painter 2023 at the moment, and in my past video, if you look at the videos that I have done, I've done a couple of videos on creating a sketch, but in this video I'm going to show you the alternative way in Corel Painter that you can do it. So I've started by importing a photograph, which I did by doing File, Open. Okay, so if I do File, Open, I can import a photo from either your camera roll or your hard drive or wherever you want to import it from. So I'm just going to open this one here for the moment, though we are not going to use, we can use this photo actually, and then I'll show you with the other one. So in my previous video I showed you how to create a sketch by essentially tracing over the photo. So you would put a layer on top, create a tracing layer, make your marks and your lines, and you would be using that and doing that almost freehand using a sketching brush and using it more or less as a tracing guide. And that's really my preferred way of doing it. It's more organic. I find it more organic. However, in Corel Painter there's always more than one way to do a particular thing, and if you don't want to do it using your art pen and your tablet per se, or you feel that your sketching is not good enough to do that, then what you can do is employ this other method. So what you do is you go to you can go to Effects, and there are two ways of doing that. You can go to Sketch, and if you click on Sketch, it will create a outline sketch for you. You can change the sensitivity of that sketch, the smoothing, which makes it lighter or darker, smoothing out the lines. You can change the grain, show how much grain you've had. This is actually kind of good for values, to create a value study is the word I'm looking for. And you can change the threshold, and you have all sorts of settings here that you can use. If you don't like that, you can always reset it, and then you just click OK. And there you have a sketch. You can either add another layer on top of that sketch, and you can eventually lock that layer. You can use the canvas layer, which is the canvas layer is now your sketch as the sketch layer, and you can use a brush to go over the marks that you've made here. And there you have a sketch, which is equally good for creating the base of your painting. What you would do, and I can show you in another video, is then you would create an underpainting, and what I would do is to have this sketch above and make sure that it was just there as my guide. So I would actually set it to something like multiply, and then I would be able to trace through it. Now the other way you can do sketch, and let's just see if I can do it this way. I'll do it with another photo. I have another photo here, I believe. That's not the one I wanted to use. I wanted to use, we'll use this one. I did have another one, but we'll use this one. So using the same approach, the idea is to create a sketch, and this time you can go to Effects, you can go to Sketch as we did before, or you could go to Surface Control. It's really unusual to find Sketch there actually, but I think there is probably a reason for it. And you'll see some options here. Typically, if you have a painting, you can apply any of these options to it, but we're going to pick on Sketch. And you get the same dialogue as you had before. I'll just move that out of the way. You can then set your smoothing, your grain. You can, if you reduce the grain, you get more of a value study option there. You can basically make the sketch lighter or darker depending on what you want, and you can also play with the sensitivity. So if you have the sensitivity turned up, you're going to get a more defined sketch, and then it's up to you you just say okay, and then it will be up to you to perhaps you can add another layer on top of that. You can choose a brush. Let's go to a brush here, and we'll go to what should we do here? Let's see if we've got a brush we can use. You can go to any of the Corel brushes actually, and pick a sketching brush. Let's just use a 2-inch landscape brush, just for argument's sake. So we'll reset it, and I'll just make it really small. I'll make it a small brush. Make sure the reset is 100. And so what I've done is I've put a layer here, and what I would there are two ways you can obviously just start adding your marks on the actual sketch itself, but what you might want to do is just add a new layer. I've made this brush far too small. Add a new layer, and you can probably go straight to blocking in on that sketch. So you can choose your palette. Let's just make this a little bit bigger, and you can, it's probably not the best brush for this. I would have actually tried to use a sketching brush or a blending brush for this, but you can see, you get the idea. You can just use that as the basis of your sketch and do it that way, or you can, let me just see if I can do this, reset 100 size, reduce the size of your brush down to, let's say, about 8, a darker color, and then just sketch in the lines that you want to keep, because it may be that this is too detailed a sketch for you. And the beauty of doing a sketch by just tracing over as opposed to creating a sketch this way is that if you create a sketch this way, as I've just shown you, it's quicker, it is really good, but you end up trying to replicate the exact lines in the photo, which will get you into all sorts of trouble, because you really, for your painting, you don't want to recreate the photo. I mean, maybe you want to recreate the photo, but I tend to not want to create the photo all over again. Photograph's the photograph. You want to add some creativity as the artist. So, but anyway, it's a matter of preference, and this way you have some lines to start with, and you can just pick a brush and pick a color and start putting in some lines, and then you can go back and block those lines in. To get straight lines, you can press your shift key, and this is not the best sort of picture to pick. I'm always picking complicated photos to do my sketches from, because there's a lot of line work here, but you could still make something of it. Make sure you've got your key guidelines here, and the key thing to do would be to only keep the parts of the sketch that are going to add value to your painting. Okay, don't recreate every single line, because you really don't need to. You can put it in as a guide and then go from there and look to putting your own expression on your painting. Okay, so this is a very rough and ready. I have to admit, I haven't used this approach for a while, but I thought it might be useful to show this, because sketching is quite a basic skill, I would say, and this does make it quicker, but you can only automate so much. I say after a while you have to add your own creativity, and as with most things with painting, the more you practice, the more you'll be able to add your own style, and the better you will get. That's it. Okay, so that is the way you can do a sketch in Corel Painter. Just go to Surface Tonal Control. Let's just recap here. Go to Effects, surface control and select sketch. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in another video. Bye.